tone. Just us, 1, 2, 3.
Just us.
Just us.
Just us.
Just us.
Just us, 1, 2, 3. Just us.
Welcome to this episode of the Just Us podcast. We are your hosts, Shazia and Tamoor Hussein.
Hello.
It's been a week since our last longer episode, what we call a three-pointer. Our jump shots are our game reaction and recaps. And there have been a lot of games over the past week.
A lot.
Too many to even remember. But let's check in on how the Warriors are doing. We're currently 9-6, 5 wins at home, and 4-6 away. So it's been tough on the road, but the momentum has been going in our favor over the past few games. And we're looking forward to some home games coming up soon, so then we can actually go.
Yeah, wrapping up with Orlando Magic tomorrow, followed by Miami Heat. Or I say tomorrow, that means Tuesday, depending on when you're listening to this. And then Wednesday is Miami Heat. And then the road trip is over, thankfully, and they return home. But those should be interesting games, given the history with both teams.
Exactly. We'll get into that in our jump shot episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of those jump shot episodes. If you haven't been listening and you want to keep up to date on what the Warriors are doing, those are the best ways. Listening to those is the best way to do it because they are published almost immediately after a game. So if you missed a game or you want a recap of the game before the next game or you just want to stay up to date with what's going on, those are the podcast episodes you should be listening to on the Just Us Podcasts YouTube page. You can also find them on Spotify. You can find them on iTunes. I was going to say Apple Podcasts. iTunes, I feel old.
Is that what
iTunes.
It's called? iTunes?
It used to be called iTunes.
I think it's just called Apple Podcasts now.
Yes. But anyways.
You can find us everywhere.
Find us everywhere. TikTok.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts, you can find us.
Find us.
Today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about a few different things. As a reminder, these episodes are more about the culture, the team overall, not necessarily the nitty-gritty of the scores and what's happening in every game, but really zooming out and taking a look at the Warriors in the broader context of things. So today we'll talk about Steph Curry and his Under Armour deal. Non-deal,
Yeah.
reversal of the deal.
Under Armour.
Under Armour. We'll talk about NBA Europe. So we're going to be going international.
Not us.
Not us.
Specifically.
No,
Yeah.
not specific. The NBA is going international, but we haven't really talked about very many international topics on this podcast yet.
Yeah,
That'll
that
be
opportunity.
exciting.
Yeah.
We'll also talk about the All-Star game. There's a new format. That game typically takes place on Valentine's Day weekend every year. The perfect way for Tam and I to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Where all the lovebirds go.
It actually is. It's my favorite part of Valentine's Day is being able to watch
A game?
the games with you. Yeah,
Nice.
it's fun. And then we'll conclude today's episode with a bit of a recounting of Steph's book, Shot Ready. We'll talk about draft night and how he ended up on the Golden State Warriors.
We're doing a little kind of tour through Steph Curry's history via his book in these bigger episodes, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah. All right. So first things first.
First things first. Rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Um,
Okay, Steph Curry and Under Armour.
yes. An unexpected moment. I did not think that Steph Curry would be leaving Under Armour anytime soon, considering he had a lifetime deal.
Yeah, how do you get out of a lifetime deal with a company?
I imagine the corporation decides they want out, and the other party gets enough in the breakup to feel like it's worth it, which
Yeah.
is probably what happened here.
So, to provide some history and context, Steph Curry used to be with Nike. He joined the NBA in 2009, and Nike had the chance to re-sign him in 2013. But they really messed up.
Really bad.
Like, badly. Very, very badly.
Who messed it up?
Oh, we know who.
Yep.
Mr. Nico Harrison, who just got fired
Recently fired from the Dallas Mavericks
as their
as their GM.
GM.
after he traded their franchise player to the Lakers for peanuts.
Basically, yeah.
He traded them for players that came and immediately got injured.
He used to be a Nike executive.
Yes.
And so I don't know of any executive at like a company like that who then gets recruited to become a general manager of a team. He had no experience whatsoever. That's very clear based on a lot of his recent decisions.
Decision making.
But Nico Harrison was part of the group that pitched Steph to stay. They mispronounced his name. And
Stephen Curry, is that what it is?
it might have been, something awful like that. And they also repurposed a slide that had Kevin Durant's name on it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That is how you screw up.
That's a big flop.
That's a bad one.
They lost Steph Curry, so he ended up signing with Under Armour in August of 2013.
Yeah, so they lost Steph Curry before he was Steph Curry. But I imagine there was enough of an indication that the player was going to be special that they probably didn't want to lose that. And Under Armour were non-existent in the basketball space. And Steph Curry brand was the deal they came up with wasn't like Nike where they gave him a shoe. It was, you are the leader of our basketball division, so whatever you say goes, basically. And that was the birth of Curry brand, which has a number of athletes on it, most notably obviously Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox, who we recently played. But it's been, outside of Nike, it's probably the biggest brand when it comes to basketball sneakers, as you guys call them, which is impressive what Steph has managed to build, but unexpectedly it's all come apart now.
I mean, I don't know if it's unexpected. I actually watched a video that had a conspiracy theory that Nico Harrison just got fired like a day before Curry announced that he was leaving Under Armour. I don't know if is that a coincidence?
I'm failing to even draw the connection. I don't know what the connection there is.
Well, I'm sure that Nico is still very tied to Nike.
Yeah, but why would they?
You know what? I don't know. I watched a video.
Listen, I'm a veteran in the conspiracy video game, and let me tell you, I've seen a lot of conspiracy videos. Name a world event. I've seen the conspiracy event for it. This one feels a bit flimsy. I can't even figure out the connection.
Well, timing
unless
is interesting.
Under Armour hires Nico, in which case then we've got.
Then we got a problem.
Then we've got a real conspiracy.
What if they rehire him? What if Nike rehires him?
Then that makes even less sense for Steph to be with them.
So we don't know what's going to happen exactly. If Steph is going to join Nike, if he's just going to make his own independent, brand, Curry brand thing.
So Under Armour owns the Curry brand. They own the Swish logo, the 3. They own that. But I believe there's going to be a transfer of ownership.
Yeah, as part of the separation, they're giving that to him.
Yeah, so he's a free agent currently. I suspect I mean, I don't want to assume what Steph Curry is capable of from a business-making perspective, but I assume he doesn't have the necessary manufacturing pipelines, design pipelines, R&D pipelines to set up his own completely self-contained brand that can produce sneakers, hoodies, other apparel to an extent where it can function as its own standalone business, which means he's probably going to partner with another brand who will take care of that and license the Curry brand for their sneakers. So in the game, the first game after this news came out, which was against who was it we played? Was it the Pelicans game? I think it was the Pelicans game.
It was the Spurs game.
Yeah, one of the recent games he came out wearing Jordans, which is a Nike
He was wearing
sub-brand.
the Kobe shoes.
Oh, was it Jordans or Kobe's? Okay,
yeah.
he was wearing Kobe's, yeah. So he came out, which I think that's the first time anyone's seen him in non-Under Armour shoes in ages. That was pre-game. Once the game started, he was wearing his own sneakers, Under Armour sneakers again.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's comfortable in those, and they are probably customized in a certain way for his ankle protection.
Exactly. And there was one point where he looked like he was wearing the Kobe's during the game and
He
like
switched shoes.
change shoes halfway through.
He sometimes does that. I think it's superstition, right? If he's not performing well, he'll, at halftime change his shoes. I don't know very many other players who do that, but
Yeah.
he has that superstition. I don't know.
Yeah. But massive deal for Steph Curry and fans of that. I believe there's one more shoe coming out as part of the Under Armour deal, which is in January.
Should we get them?
I was talking to you about this and you didn't seem convinced.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I've learned more about it, just the whole deal and everything. I don't know if we really want to support or fund Under Armour. Like, I'd rather buy.
I don't care about. You would rather buy a Steph Curry one?
Yeah, like whatever.
The reason I say it's worth buying is because it's the last shoe from a historic deal between Steph Curry and another company, with Steph Curry being the leader of the Curry brand basketball division in Under Armour. So as far as factors that could mean that it's a noteworthy shoe release, it's got a few of them. So it's not a case of supporting Under Armour. I don't really care about that because either way, we're supporting a corporation. Steph Curry is a corporation, effectively. He's a brand. So the only reason I said maybe we should try and get it is because it's a milestone moment in Steph Curry's career.
It's a collector's item, as we like to say.
Yeah, exactly.
We like to collect things.
And stick them in our Warriors shrine.
Yeah, the shrine is getting very full.
I think we need a bigger...
We need like a room. We need a basketball cave for all of our stuff.
I think we need a new place to live first
I think
before we
we
do
do.
that. We don't have the space for that in here.
But I'm just really curious what the inner workings were. Like, how did it get to this point where Steph was maybe like so dissatisfied with how things were going that he decided to separate from the company?
So based on the research that I did and the readings of it, it doesn't seem like a satisfaction issue. Based on what they're presenting, which obviously is unlikely to be the full story, what they're presenting, no party has pointed at a specific thing and said, this is why it's happening, but enough context and statements about circumstances around both parties have come out where it looks like the story that's being told is Under Armour is in a difficult place as a company. They've had back-to-back quarters where they've declined in revenue, and they are doing some brand consolidation and figuring out what is truly worth working for them. And I suspect shedding the Curry brand is going to save them money because of the split, or maybe what they pay Steph to be the head of it, and the margin or the share of profits, that kind of stuff. That seems like it's the biggest deal, biggest factor, which in Steph's case is probably better for him because it's not a bust up. It's more a case of this company doesn't have what it takes to push this brand to the next level. So he's stepping away and becoming, the free agent where he can find a brand now that is capable of doing that, and it's beneficial for him because when he originally made this deal, he was one player, and now he's a 4-time champion, multiple-time MVP, greatest of all-time player. So he goes into whatever discussion he has with a monumental amount of weight. I wouldn't say it's Jordan levels, but it's close to Kobe levels at the very least. I would argue he's probably the biggest brand outside of a LeBron, but LeBron doesn't have Bron, as a brand. He has Nike and he has shoes within them, whereas Steph has got Curry brand. So it could be very lucrative for him. And you know what? It feels like it feels like he deserves a bit of money. He's been really slumming it for the past few decades.
I feel like his earnings potential was held back by his current deal with Under Armour. Under Armour is not known for basketball shoes. I feel like he made the brand what it is today.
That was his role. That was he was put in charge of.
And I do wonder if he had stayed with Nike, how much he could have made, and it would have been a bigger brand, I think, than LeBron or Kobe, or maybe it would have rivaled the Jordan shoes.
Well, I don't think he would. I don't know if he was as readily have his own sub brand in the way that Jordan does. It feels like under Nike, you either are within the Jordan ecosystem or you've got shoes.
Yeah.
I don't think you. I think at the time he was going to make that deal, I don't think there would have been like, okay, you get your own sub brand. But now he's in a position where he can rock up and demand something like that, and Nike would have to seriously consider it. But Nike isn't the only company that is currently potentially a player. They are struggling within the sports apparel game, as well as many of the other big companies. Adidas is having a rough time. And in fact, the upstart companies are the ones that seem to be gaining headway by courting athletes. Like Hoka is another one that is seemingly making some headway. I don't know if Hoka has the juice to, take on a Curry brand and help him get where he needs to. It feels like Nike, Adidas are the ones that are capable of doing it.
New Balance has been one that's recruited a lot of star players.
They have a lot of young players as well. They've got the Tyrese Maxeys of the world. They've got WNBA players, I believe. Who Cameron Brink is part of them.
Jamal Murray's
I'm
thinking about the commercial. See, the commercials do
with
work.
The ball passing to each other.
It's a good commercial.
Yeah, it's a good commercial. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. As a, someone who I own maybe one Curry brand thing, which is the sleeveless hoodie. I don't own any of Curry's sneakers, so I'm interested to see where he goes. I tried to get his what the Bay mismatched colorway sneakers for a long time, and they're very difficult to find. They were very difficult to find when they were out, and it's one of the reasons I don't really buy sneakers related to basketball or sneakers at all, because it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we're not sneakerheads in that way.
I think that,
but we know sneakerheads, and we think it's cool. It's a cool hobby to be able to collect all the cool shoes.
I think it's cool. I think that industry is awful.
Yeah.
The whole StockX style, you have to, if you don't spend your entire day in life,
waiting
trying to get these, waiting in line and trying to, and then it's one of the few industries where it's just accepted and understood that the people who are buying the shoes are likely going to flip it for way more expensive. I think that sucks for a normal person who just wants to go into a store and buy a Steph Curry shoe. I think that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, if it was more accessible, I think we would have more shoes.
Yeah. I don't have any Curry shoes. I think I've got the you have
the Sabrinas.
The Sabrinas, which I think are nice for playing in. And then the other ones are the Warriors ones, right? The old colorway from the classic.
The We Believe.
The We Believe team.
Yeah. But those are
those are high tops. Those aren't for playing.
What brand are those though?
Those are
Nike.
Nikes,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we like to see what shoes all the players wear.
Yeah.
So we'll report back to see what Curry ends up deciding on.
And I know Steph is listening to this, so Steph, if you want to have a interview with the Just Us podcast to talk about this specific issue and what lies in the future for the Curry brand, let us know.
We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, we'll make some time for you. We're very busy,
but so busy.
For you, we will move a couple of meetings around. We'll make sure that we're not using any slides that have Kevin Durant on it, and we'll call you Stefan. So let us know.
On the last broadcast, we felt like the commentators merged Steve Kerr and Steph Curry's name and said Steve Curry.
Yeah. No, he said Steve Kerr and then used a word that had E to begin with.
But both of us heard Steve Curry, and both of us had to rewind and listen to it again.
I filmed it and listened to it a few times, and
you think they
definitely
Steve
said
Kerr.
Steve Kerr like ejected or something like that, a word that starts with E.
Yeah.
And it just sounded like he said Steve Curry, which was weird. But anyways.
We won't call you Steve Curry, we promise.
No, we promise.
All right, so that's the update on Steph Curry's
There's
shoe.
your sneaker update for the week.
Sneaker update. I doubt we'll be doing another sneaker segment, but maybe.
Cut to the next episode where there's another sneaker segment.
Yeah. Well, tell us if you guys liked this segment.
Also, this whole segment, I've been calling them sneakers. I've been calling them Nike. I said Adidas.
Okay,
this is all counter.
What are the words that you would normally use?
Trainers, Nike, Adidas.
Okay.
We invented the language. Grow up. The rest
Whatever.
Of you.
You have to conform to using these words.
Typical American is our way, or the
the
very poorly
motorway.
paved highway.
Well, you call it a motorway, so see, I used the British term
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Next
and
up, we
growing.
have.
NBA Europe.
All right, what's the deal with NBA Europe? As the European expert, why don't you tell us?
It sounds like a money-making scheme, to be honest. But the NBA is going to be launching a new Europe-based league in October of 2027.
They should call it NBAE, because then it spells NBA as like Bay. It's got NBA, Bay, NBA. We can call that.
Would anyone understand that?
No,
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think they're just going to call it NBA Europe.
Yeah.
So Europe has FIBA. So
It's kind of like COVID, but it's.
what exactly is FIBA?
FIBA is the.
It's kind of like
just
FIFA, but
basically
FIBA.
basketball league. Yeah.
Yep.
Is the European league, I guess, for basketball, which isn't anywhere close to being as big as the NBA, but it's the only organized basketball league with a presence and some weight outside of America.
Exactly. So those two organizations, the NBA and FIBA, have been trying to work together to come up with this NBA Europe concept. So there's 16 teams that are going to be established in Europe. So, countries like Britain, France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Greece, Turkey, they're all going to have either one or two teams playing for those countries.
Yeah. And I believe they are doing the typical approach, which it seems like they're doing, is they're partnering or approaching teams who are already established or brands that are already established within other sports. So one of the ones that keeps coming up is Manchester, likely to have a team. And the reason that is kind of important is because Manchester has Manchester United, the soccer team, which is iconic, legendary. Some of the greatest players of all time have played for them. So they are likely to get a team. And then London is supposedly going to get a team. London has a bunch of Premier League soccer football players, football teams. So it makes sense there. And then there are various other locations that in Europe that have medium to good in terms of profile, high basketball teams that will likely get folded into it.
Yeah, and let's just talk about this because most of the last few MVPs have been European players.
That is the real reason. If I was a shrewd businessman and trying to figure out what what's his name, Silver is up to, I would say I think that very savvy. I think he noticed that the biggest players are currently coming out of. There's kind of a European invasion almost. There's a European the ratio of how many players are American versus how many players are European in the upper echelons of play. I think it's more even now than it used to be. Previously it was all Americans. Now you are getting way more Europeans. I mean, the reigning champion MVP for how many years now has been Jokic
from Serbia.
Exactly. And, one of the most well-known players currently, likely to be the face of the Lakers going forward, Luka Doncic, is
from
European, Slovenia. And, you look at upcoming talent or rising talent, Şengün, for example, Turkey. There's so many, and also the supposed next face of the league, the one who's actually attracting attention for both play and physicality, Victor Wembanyama, Wemby, French. So I imagine the real reason, or one of the key reasons, is they want more control over what happens in Europe to create a pipeline from Europe into the American NBA and vice versa, so that when a big star is created in Europe, they are able to cross the bridge and come into the NBA where they can make money and the NBA can make money off them more. And as a star is fading and a player is likely to drop out, instead of going abroad and going to, an Asian space, they can take the bridge back to NBA Europe, where they're more likely to be competitive almost. They're not completely cut out of the NBA family and they still have some decent earning potential. So it feels like that is a way of creating a satellite NBA league, almost like a G League system where they can pull and push players back and forth. And it's fiscally way more beneficial for them.
It's very clever. I think they're making a very strategic move here because the NBA has become so international already. Now they just need to control those other markets.
Yeah. And especially that this is more like focused on certain European territories. I think there's also a lot of untapped potential in
Africa specifically. Like, I wonder if that, like, after Europe will be the next thing.
But even like looking at Europe, like how many British basketball players can you name?
None.
I can't even think of a single player.
I can't think of a single one, no.
And there has to be hidden talent in the UK because the UK, generally, basketball is relatively popular, not as much as it is in America and Europe. But more and more recently, I've seen people appearing on social media, TikTok, who are big fans of the NBA and also are playing. So I imagine there's some potential for undeveloped talent to be found in places like, you know, the UK or Scotland or England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, maybe stuff like Rome, Italy, that kind of stuff. There's probably talent there who are good at playing basketball that just never had an opportunity or never saw a pathway to actual success and legitimate play. So cool.
Yeah, and I
might
think
have a British basketball player at some point soon.
that would be really cool.
It's gonna be me.
You can.
My fat ass is gonna be dunking.
You have to practice more.
I need to grow many.
You need to grow a couple feet.
On feet and inches on my 5'10". Don't cut it anymore.
Yeah. So the NBA is really doubling down on this. They're actually sending 2 teams to play in Berlin and London in January, I think, to hype up the news about this new league. So they're sending the Orlando Magic and Memphis Grizzlies to
interesting choices,
different countries. Why interesting choices?
I mean, Orlando Magic, I think, who they don't have a star factor, right?
They have Paolo Banchero.
Who go to England, or where are they going to? London?
Yeah, they're going to London.
Ask any
Berlin
of them
and London.
whether they know who Paolo Banchero is, and they'll be like, "Who?" It's like that video of that podcast where a guy calls his mum. They have an argument about who the most recognizable player is, and they're all talking about LeBron and Magic Johnson, and then one guy gets annoyed and calls his mum, who's African, and says, "Who is the most well-known player in the basketball world?" And there's a pause there, and everyone's like, "Is she going to say LeBron? Is she going to say Kobe? Is she going to say Steph? Is she going to say someone else?" And she goes, "Dikembe Mutombo." And they just burst out laughing.
That was great. I love that video.
So that is Dikembe Mutombo is probably the only player outside of the big ones. So like that's why I say like Paolo Banchero, we as NBA fans know he is legit and he's a great player. But outside of that, there's no one else. You want to send a name, right?
I know. I think they're sending teams that aren't going to make it very deep in the playoffs. Because that's it's very disruptive in the middle of the season to be sent to a different country to play a basketball game. I know during the summer they sent teams to Abu Dhabi and like other locations, but that's like during the off season.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at a historic glass half full kind of approach, I think Orlando Magic does have some awareness, because if you think back to when we first started this podcast, that was one of the teams that I said kind of caught my attention in terms of drawing me to basketball.
Was it because
Bulls,
of Shaq?
Shaq, yeah. Chicago Bulls, and then Orlando Magic. Those were and the Lakers were the big teams that had some international awareness. I don't think Magic has a player that they can talk about being as big. Or who is the other team they're sending?
The Grizzlies.
Again, not a team that's got massive awareness. I think Ja Morant has got more awareness than Paolo Banchero. But is Ja Morant going to be there when they send him?
Probably not.
I mean,
He wants a trade.
He's injured currently, but not a serious injury. He's like taking maybe like a week or 2 off. He's being reassessed soon, I believe. I saw a notification about that from one Shams. But there's also some, there's not a lot of confidence that he will be there long term, because there's been some kind of chippiness between him and the organization. So who knows whether he's going to be there. And even then, I don't think Ja Morant has got as much of a star power, pull power as it does as other players do. I think the biggest thing that they could have done is what they did pre-Olympics, where they sent a bunch of players who were in the Olympic team to play an exhibition game in London, which is what I bought tickets for my cousin and my brother to see. And that was incredible. Like, that was the first time all of them had seen, both my family members had seen Steph Curry, had seen LeBron James, had seen Anthony Edwards, ever. And I don't think there's going to be anything like that. But that was, I remember talking to my friends over there, or like people over there, and being on UK TikTok and seeing how hyped people were about having those players there. That has done more for basketball outside of America than anything else. And having an NBA store probably helps as well in London, which we've been to multiple times. You can see a video of that on TikTok.
Yeah, check it out.
Just us, GSW Pod.
So just to wrap it up, about 1 in every 6 current NBA players is from Europe. So it's kind of taking over, or taking the league by storm. So this is a way that the NBA is creating a new pocket of opportunity in Europe.
I'm fascinated to see how the atmosphere of a NBA Europe game compares to, because I know what it's like.
It's going to be lit.
Have you seen an NBA, a European FIBA game, or like just a European game?
Things are on fire.
They treat it, it sounds like a soccer game where the constant noise, it is wild how crazy it gets over there. And you can speak to Luka, you can see Luka talking about playing there, and Jokic, and basically his sentiment was, you guys have no idea. Like, the way you guys play is a joke. You guys are like mollycoddled. You guys are having the softest games. Whereas you go to, and it looks like hell on earth in those games. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays a factor. I would love to see American NBA teams made to play games, maybe even exhibition games, in European style stadiums, just so they get a real taste of what it's like to play in that region, because the fans are way louder, deafening even. I think the Warriors are probably a team that if they went there, they would be okay because of the Roracle. But who knows any other teams, whether they'd be able to hack it under that kind of noise pressure, heat pressure, just the overwhelming nature of it.
Well, maybe by next summer, they'll have more exhibition-style games in European countries to really hype this up further.
It'd give us a good reason to go back to Europe, maybe even visit London more.
Definitely. Well, speaking of international relations and things of that nature,
oh God,
the NBA has released a new format for the All-Star game.
I thought you were going to talk about something political.
Oh no. This is a sports podcast. I'm really confused right now. Like, there's a lot of the format. It takes up a whole page of like our papers.
Just read
so,
it
like,
word for word and
should
let
I just
people
read it
figure
word
it
for
out.
word?
Yeah. I mean, I think I read it a few times and I was like, I kind of get it. Do you want to break it down for people?
Okay, I was hoping you would break it down for people. But you know what? Let's talk about what the All-Star game is first.
Yeah.
There are certain players who are selected to be All-Stars. It's a big honor to be selected as an All-Star. It means that you are doing really well.
Hey now, you're an All-Star.
Yeah, that's a great song, Smash Mouth. It means that you are performing really well. It's voted on by fans. And then I believe that there's other votes for like reserves and other players. So Steph has obviously been an all-star for many years in his career, but it also gives rising stars an opportunity to like enter that upper echelon of the NBA in terms of performance and players. Yeah,
and the reason this is happening is because there's an ongoing issue about how seriously these players take the all-star whole kind of like season, or like the all-star program, and being part of that, because yes, they are being rewarded for being the best in the league, but it also comes at a time during the season where it does not make sense for these players to be playing as hard as they ordinarily would, because it could jeopardize their viability for the rest of the season. So a lot of the times what happens is these players get in and just start goofing off, which I think is fun. I realize that it's fun. I realize that they're not going hard. But last time it happened, Steph was shooting half court shots and putting them repeatedly, and people were like having a great time.
Yeah,
But
and the All-Star game this past year, in February, was in San Francisco.
yeah,
So I was actually just wearing my All-Star T-shirt today to my workout.
Mm.
But it was such a fun environment, really cool. We didn't go to the game itself, but we went to the open practice, which was probably the best part. We got to see all
honestly,
the
like
players.
I think it was better than the game
Oh
because
yeah, the game's pretty boring. The fun part is the practice, the interviews, and then they do a skills challenge on Saturday night. And that's
Yeah.
like the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, the skills like there's so many different challenges that they do, and those are like kind of comical and
Yeah.
fun and exciting. The game is just
it's fun. Yeah, sometimes
It's
you
okay.
get some fun stuff.
Steph
happening.
did really good. He won MVP of the game.
It's like it is also a skills exhibition where people will be like, "Oh, here's LeBron. He's gonna do a crazy dunk." Or
Yeah, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters.
yeah,
you know,
that's as
like-
close as they get. But then you do get like the experience we had. I think the best thing that I saw in if you didn't go to the open practice that we went to and instead paid to go to the actual All-Star game, I think the people who went to the open practice had a better experience because they had that moment where they had all the best players half court all trying to shoot half court shots, right? Was it behind their head or was it just
Yeah,
full
it was.
on?
I think it was behind.
Yeah, so
behind
behind
their
their head, not looking at it, and it was like Kevin Durant was doing it. Who was there?
Kyrie Irving was there.
Kyrie Irving was doing it.
Steph,
and
obviously.
Steph was there, and like various other major players. And you got to watch KD try and do it, and then everyone's like failing at it, and then Steph picks up the ball and does it repeatedly, and you can just see these guys like having fun and goofing off. And we were close enough that we could see it in 4K with our eyes,
We were pretty close.
and like that was better than anything I saw televised.
I mean, we would have loved to go to
Oh, I would
the
love to,
game
100%.
itself. We couldn't afford it. So,
No, it's expensive.
but anyway,
But I guess
that's
like
a whole other topic.
the issue is, and then what happens is, because they don't take it seriously, you get a contingent of fans who are annoyed that it's not a proper game. I don't think that's a big contingent. I think the vast majority of the criticism comes from former NBA players who are everyone's got a podcast now. And they have something to say about how seriously they take it. Back in my day, we took it seriously. You know, we used to do this and we used to show up and play hard. And that is where a lot of it comes from. And my perspective is, we get it, you're old. Like, relax. This is not your time. You don't have to try and make the current NBA feel and look like 1980s NBA. The game is different. They play quicker. They play harder. Injuries are very apparent. If a Steph Curry decides he's not going to go dumb hard because he thinks that he's going to make a playoff run, it makes perfect sense. Get a grip, relax.
Exactly. And in previous years, the format, historically and traditionally, the format has been East versus West.
Yes.
So you have the Eastern Conference players versus the Western Conference. And they tried to, change things up. They had team captains for a while for each conference and division.
The Eastern Division doesn't have a lot of
Star power. Yeah, so it was a little bit uneven. So then they changed it. And then team captains got to choose. And then last year it was like they got to play against the rising stars who are like the rookies and everything. And that was pretty boring because the rookies weren't great compared to the veterans. So this year they're changing things. Let's bring it back to what we had initially started, which was the world component.
Yeah, so this is an attempt to inject some sort of kind of excitement into it and also kind of try and incentivize the players to take it a little more seriously. There is a monetary reward for winning. I don't think it's going to help. I think the players know that where their bread is buttered, and it's in the playoffs and the main season, trying to push the organization, the franchise that they play for forward. That's where real dividends are paid. But I think they will take it a little more seriously because a lot of the international players now are either experienced rookies almost. I don't say rookies, they're like second, third years. And also a lot of the vets are MVP caliber. So I feel like they're in a better situation now. So it's United States versus the world format. It's going into a 3-team format featuring 8-man rosters. So there's going to be 3 teams of 8 players. 2 of these teams will be made up of American players, and a third The third one is international selections. 5 starters and 7 reserves for these 8-man teams.
You already lost me there.
So of these 8-man teams,
Which there are 3 of.
which there are 3 of, there's going to be 5 starters and then 3 people on the bench.
Okay.
So it's not like you can get a super deep bench like in a normal season. And the voting on this comes from fans. Who makes it comes from fans voting on it, media picking, and players picking as well, and coaches having a say. And they will all contribute to various parts of that team composition. Like certain people among those groups will be tasked with picking the starters, while others will be picking the bench players, the reserves. The difference now is there's no positional requirements. So it's not like you have to fill, a position with certain players. It feels like they're going loosey-goosey with it. And just like, if you want to try and put this traditionally center player into a point guard position, go for it. Good luck to you. So I think that was previously, it was like you had to recruit within
the front court and the back court.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
get your votes. So like fans, we would vote every year, obviously, for Steph Curry to be a starter in the All-Star lineup.
Yeah. So previously it was made up of 2 backcourt players and 3 front court players, with the reserves being the same split plus 2 wild cards. So this year the starters will be the 5 top voted players, regardless of position, and then reserves will be top 7 as well, regardless of position.
That's crazy to think of, because what if you have a super tall team?
I think that makes it fun.
I think it does too. Like, what if you had Giannis, Jokic,
Wemby,
all on one team? How do they determine the split of like who gets on each team?
I don't think they care.
They
think
don't care,
they're going like just
they're going rogue.
Crazy. They're going, make it as fun as possible, make it wacky. Like a team like Luka, Jokic, Wemby, Giannis, even if it's clear like either they're going to lose or they're going to win, it's at least fun. Like you're never going to see those dudes play together. Everyone's going to want to see Giannis throw a lob to Wemby.
That would be amazing.
Because that's just a classic moment, right? This scenario, unfortunately, leans into one of the worst things that Adam Silver has said ever, which is the whole people don't watch full games, they watch clips.
Do you want to know why they don't watch full games? Because
it's fucking impossible
to
get.
It's really impossible. Like, you have to download Peacock, you have to pay for it, you have to get Amazon Prime Video, you have to have ESPN, you have to have whatever. Like,
it's a rich person sport.
We, this season, are actually having issues figuring out where to watch the games,
Yeah,
which has never, ever happened to us before.
I feel like the average income household isn't capable of watching the NBA.
No, absolutely not.
Which is absurd because from one perspective, from one side, the viewer experience is becoming a rich person sport. But also, from a getting into the NBA perspective, it's a rich person's game now. Like most of the players, how many players are like the son of another former player? It feels like the sport is like becoming disconnected from...
It's gentrified.
It's kind of disconnected from like the people who care most about it. But yeah, there's that whole kind of, that same kind of, I forgot what I was going to say there. What were we talking about?
Well, I think what we're trying to bring this back to is that the All-Star Game is going to be on Peacock this year, or in February, NBC and Peacock. So who knows if we'll be able to watch it ultimately. You just canceled your Peacock subscription because we had to get it for that one time where like the game was delayed.
Yeah.
Like the previous game went into overtime.
And they started the Warriors game
on Peacock.
Which is baloney.
Yeah. We were very upset.
Doing that. Yeah, I was very, very upset with that.
Wait, so then these teams are going to play each other, right? So these 3 teams of 8 people each.
Oh, sorry, I remember the point I was going to make.
Oh.
This format, it doesn't make any sense unless you think about
the clips.
Making clips.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to try hard to make a clip out of Jokic passing the ball to Wemby. That alone, the act of that happening, someone could clip it, put it on the NBA feed, and it will pop off because it's 2 players who will never interact in that way, interacting, and there's novelty to that. So I think that's what a key part of this as well is, leaning into the clip culture.
Definitely. So I think another part of why they're doing it this way is the Winter Olympics are coming up.
Yeah.
In February, during that time frame.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're kind of building in this format, this new format of the All-Star weekend into the Olympics, which is obviously an international like sporting event.
Yeah.
And basketball typically is not played in the Winter Olympics. It's a Summer Olympic sport. So I feel like they're trying to do something there. I mean, the Olympics are always on NBC.
Again.
It's honestly, it's just.
Again, I think it's maybe I'm too cynical, but I think it is a money-making. There was an eye-opening moment.
I agree.
The last Olympics, our boy Steph Curry just created one of the greatest basketball moments of all time. Not Olympic moments, basketball moments. And that is something that they looked at probably and were like, why don't we do more? And it's because you don't have an event like the Olympics outside of the Winter Olympics. So if they're trying to fold it into that,
they're trying to bring viewership up.
Yeah, and I don't know if you put Steph Curry on the court repeatedly, you're probably going to get some magic. But that whole like finals, that Steph shooting over Wemby, that moment is probably where a light went off in Adam Silver's brain, and they thought, what if we folded the All-Star game into the Winter Olympics and used some of that juice to try and it makes sense. There's a synergy there as well, because the Winter Olympics, like the other Olympics, are an international kind of presence when it comes to sports participants and also audiences. And if you're an international audience and you're about to launch a European basketball league, like you're creating that synergy already.
It's all tied together. I feel like we're making a web of
this is the conspiracy.
We're making a conspiracy theory.
This is the real conspiracy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So for those of you who want to tune in to the All-Star
I'm going to name this
weekend,
episode The Great Basketball Conspiracy.
Oh, geez. Sunday, February 15th. It's actually the All-Star weekend is being held at the Intuit Dome in where the LA Clippers play.
Yeah, where Steve Ballmer did some suspicious stuff.
Has that been resolved yet?
No.
No.
I think Kawhi is just like not looking at it. It's just a fire that's behind him, and he's just like, if I don't look at it, it can't burn me. But I think Steve Ballmer is probably in trouble.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's going to be an investigation. I think the league might be busy investigating the other thing right now.
Oh, the gambling scandal?
Gambling scandal. Well, didn't they ask the Lakers to hand over all of their phones or something like that?
Yeah. The NBA is spicy this season. Lots of scandals.
Wild stuff happening.
Lots of coaches getting fired, gambling.
Patrick Beverley punched someone the other day because...
He did?
I unless I misread it, he came home and found his sister in bed with someone.
What?
That
we're now perpetuating rumors. We don't know.
No, I
sure.
saw there was some weird stuff with Patrick Beverley. He was like in trouble with the cops, and then there was like some stuff came out about family, and people started putting it together, and it seems like it is still gossip, but it seems like he was not happy that his sister, an adult female, made some of her own decisions. So
okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into this further.
Well, Patrick Beverley's annoying, so
yeah, we don't like Patrick Beverley
Check
at
him in jail,
all.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Let's conclude today's episode talking about Shot Ready, Steph Curry's book, which I'm still kind of in the middle of. He talks about, his early career, being on the team, and then transitioning to a leadership position as a veteran and how he's been mentoring other players. But we'll talk about draft night. So I don't think you've read this part yet of the book.
No,
Tam.
but I know the story of draft night.
You do? Oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
I'm so excited to tell this story.
I know, I'm very excited to tell this story. It's so 2009, that was the year that Steph Curry was drafted. He worked out for 4 teams. It was the Charlotte Hornets, the Sacramento Kings, the Washington Wizards, and the New York Knicks. Okay. So at the time, Mike D'Antoni was the head coach of the Knicks. And he really, really, really wanted Steph on his team. He basically said, like, I see you as like this playing the Steve Nash role of point guard on my team. Like we're gonna draft you. It was basically
Steph was
guaranteed, a done deal.
Steph was like into it, right?
Oh, he
Yeah, he
definitely wanted to play.
He wanted to play in New York.
Yeah, and because that's a huge market
Yeah.
team,
Also,
right?
the venue is legendary as well.
Madison Square Garden, which we have yet to go to, but I would love to
MSG.
see a game there.
Love it in noodles.
Okay. Yes, MSG. So Steph, his dad, Del Curry, who played in the NBA, everyone was really into this idea of Steph going to the Knicks. He worked out with them. Like, the coach essentially guaranteed him a spot on the team. Now, the Knicks had the 8th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. They were ready to recruit him. Steph at that point had not had any conversations with the Warriors. He hadn't worked out with them. Like, he had gotten calls from Don Nelson, who was the coach of the Warriors at the time. He spoke to Steph's dad, Del Curry, and, Don Nelson had asked, what are your thoughts on, your son playing with the team? Potentially, right? It was just an idea. And Del Curry's like, no, don't. Like,
You
literally,
guys suck.
he said, don't do it.
Yeah.
He does not want to be on the team, essentially. And one of the reasons that Steph didn't want to be on the Warriors was that his dad and his agent had heard of a lot of organizational dysfunction at the time, and they wanted Steph to steer clear of that. He wanted to join, right, like an up-and-coming team, a team that was already doing well and had, like, future prospects for success. So when draft night came around, the first pick of the 2009 NBA draft was Blake Griffin. Okay. And the Warriors, I think, had wanted Blake Griffin, but they had the 7th pick. So they really had to think strategically about it, right? That was also the class year that James Harden was selected 3rd. When it came time for the 7th pick and the Warriors had that pick, they took a long time to make a decision. So usually you have, I think it's like 3 minutes to make your decision. The clock was expiring, right? And it turned out that they decided to draft none other than Stephen Curry as the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft.
Yeah.
So the Knicks were 1 pick away and they lost him. And it was in, I think the NBA draft that year was in New York at Madison Square Garden, and a lot of people booed. Like, people were booing that selection because, like, Knicks fans really wanted Steph on the team.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that is such a, like, it must have been such a gut-wrenching moment for Steph and his family.
Yeah. Little did he know.
You can see it also, like, if you watch the footage of him when the Warriors said that when they drafted him, he, like, banged his fist on the table. Like, I think people interpreted that as disappointment. I think he was just confused.
Yeah.
Because, like, he certainly did not think he was going to the Warriors.
Yeah.
I think it was surprise, confusion, like, skepticism probably. But that's so crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those sliding doors moments where the landscape of modern basketball would be completely different if Stephen Curry was a Knicks player.
I know. Imagine that.
The Knicks probably would have had 4 championships.
Yeah.
And they would have had the most annoying fan base ever created.
Right. And look, they have none in modern basketball
And they
history.
still have one of the most annoying fans. I say
they
that
really
as someone
do have an annoying fan base.
who, like, enjoys the Knicks and enjoys being in New York. But every time I see a video of Knicks fans, I'm just like, you guys are too loud. Please quiet down.
Very loud. So I think the message there that, like, Steph then recounted in the book was be open to the unexpected and things will happen to you and you won't see that they're happening for you. So it was meant to be that he ended up with the Warriors.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine a great deal of the Warriors organization kind of adapting to having Steph Curry is the reason now they are known for being probably the best organization to be part of, right? They look after their players in a way that no other team does. People love and they hear about what it's like to play for the Warriors, and it sounds pretty incredible. They do wild shit, like they'll fly every team member's family for any away games or stuff like that. And they have the best medical team. I think that was one of the things that Al Horford this season that helped him make a decision to come to the Warriors is he called up Steph and Draymond and said, can you talk to me about, the medical team? Because he's older. He needs to be more careful about his body. And the kind of message was, you won't find a better team. You won't find a better medical team. These guys will take care of you. And that's exactly what it seems like. People who come to play for the Warriors want to stay at the Warriors. Imagine being someone like DeAnthony Melton right now, who came here, was doing really well, clearly started building a vibe, and then got traded, unfortunately, as part of his injury. Now he's back. He's probably like, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's being taken care of.
I'm back, sure. Baby. Yeah. But yeah, it makes that whole story is really, really fascinating as a, like I said, sliding doors moment where you try and play out what would have been different if that trade had happened in the way that we expected it to happen and the Warriors didn't get them.
Yeah, just like with the shoe deal. Like, what if? Like, what could have happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Blake Griffin.
Yeah, we like Blake Griffin.
I like Blake Griffin. He's everywhere.
He's in every
every single
right
advert.
Now.
It's not a joke. Every single commercial is Blake Griffin.
Yeah, and he's on the broadcasting team for Amazon Prime.
I just cannot escape him.
Yeah.
He's doing some.
He's made a comeback this year.
Yeah, he's doing some real.
I think he's running out of money,
Pedro
and he needed some money.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very, very. He needs to be careful of not overexposing himself. But yeah.
But anyway, that is the story of the 2009 draft night. We'll bring some more excerpts from the book, or my interpretation of them, because he does talk about after he joined the team, there was a lot of dysfunction on the Warriors.
Yeah.
They did not have the same culture that they have today.
Correct.
And I was actually really surprised to read a lot of the drama that took place. And then the change in coaching staff and all of that. So we'll talk more about it during the next podcast.
Yeah. We also talk about a little event that we were going to. This is exciting for us because we talked about how we wanted these podcasts and the podcast overall to be a little more culture focused and a little more fan focused than the other podcasts that are the most popular ones right now, which are all stat reads and previous players talking about, why this player is bad, why this player is good, who they think is going to win. We wanted to differentiate ourselves by focusing on more the people. And we've done a little bit of it here and there with the Steve Kerr thing, the Sam Altman thing that we went to, and a few other, videos that we did on TikTok showing off events, that kind of stuff. I feel like this is the one big event where we have an opportunity to realize some of the stuff that we really wanted to do with it being, more culture focused, because the event we're talking about is obviously the launch of the new Warriors jersey, the town ones, the brown ones that have been circulating, and the Warriors organization is holding effectively like a block party style launch event for it, which we're going to go to.
We're going to be there. It's on Sunday, November 23rd.
Yeah.
At the Bridge Yard in Oakland.
We're going to be there. We're going to take our microphones.
We're going to buy some new merch.
We're going to buy some merch.
We're going to buy the jersey, the new jersey.
Are they selling it there?
I think so.
I should think so, but
I think they're also raffling off some signed ones. So if you buy one, you enter a raffle to get a signed jersey, which that would be amazing.
But the thing I'm looking forward to most is taking our microphones and talking to people. Hopefully they allow it. I don't know if they're going to be like, you can't do that. We'll see though.
And we have special T-shirts that we're going to be wearing that day.
With our logo, our podcast logo on it.
Yep, the Just Us Podcast logo.
And the hope is we'll also be videoing it so that we can either put up a YouTube video or put up some clips from it. So this is going to be very much more culture focused. I'm excited because I think from that point on, I want to try and really for us to lean into that, open the floodgates on it and start realizing some of the plans we had where we are planning to shine a spotlight on small businesses and find people, find the fandom in the Bay Area in less obvious ways,
Yes, and we are going to a few games coming up as well, so we want to talk to, people while we're there, talk to our favorite
Ushers, yeah.
Yeah.
Usher.
Usher.
Yeah. So this is a
in our
test run.
section. Yeah. So we'll, bring in more flavor into these episodes as well.
Yeah. And then the hope is to start doing interview segments a little more. We're still trying to establish ourselves. We have no legitimacy right now, effectively. We are a fan podcast, but if we, hit up a player's representation and are like, hey, do you want to come and interview this tiny little podcast that gets like 200 views?
I mean, we have some legitimacy. We have business cards and T-shirts,
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think that gives us some.
The only thing
clout.
that we don't have in terms of legitimacy is that access and recognizability. I think from all other angles, I think we've done a pretty professional job of the way we present ourselves in decks, in graphics, in like social media, that kind of stuff. I think we've done a pretty decent job of that. I made a deck for the podcast to send to players and anyone who might be in a position to potentially provide us with access to something. I've only sent it to one person. Oh, two actually. GP2's representation and Draymond's representation. But it was completely cold called one-way message on Instagram. They're the two players that have forgotten or don't know how to lock down their messages. So
you tried it with other players?
I looked at every player on the team to
Okay.
see who's accessible. And most of them have their DMs closed or they don't have a contact button on their Instagram page. So I'm just kind of hoping that eventually we will be consistent and hopefully we will stumble into opportunities like that. But we're not counting on them. That's one of the reasons we try and focus on the culture around it. And hopefully one day we'll be able to fold and connect the culture with the actual players as well. But until then, we're doing this for ourselves and the fans, hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in. We really appreciate it, all the feedback. If you have any other feedback, feel free to comment on any of our videos or posts or anything, really. We love to see people engaging with us.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yes. Okay. With that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Just Us on 3. 1, 2, 3. Just us.